So this is the Honor 9X Pro in the new Phantom Purple color finish. Looks aside, this thing is pretty similar to Honor's 9X. One key difference though comes with its hardware, where the fingerprint scanner now moves to the side of the phone instead of the back. And quite frankly, it's fairly comfortable that way, doubling also as the power button. The 9X Pro is also about 10 grams heavier, but dimensions wise you're still looking at a 6.59-inch IPS LCD panel. There's no Gorilla Glass protection on the front nor the back, but you do find a pre-applied screen protector as well as a TPU case out of the box. The panel itself is not the most vibrant, but it gives you a fairly decent viewing experience. There's also no notch or bezel to it for that greater immersion because its camera is a pop-up style one, but more on that in just a bit. You can control the display's temperature and viewing angles for it are not too bad either. I think you'll be fine watching content on it, although the bottom mono speaker may be of some concern. It's loud but easily covered in a natural landscape grip, so maybe you'd be better off using some wired 3.5mm headphones or wireless headphones. More on the screen, it's still a Full HD Plus panel, and you get no bells and whistles like a higher refresh rate. Coming from a 90Hz or a 120Hz panel, you do see a big difference, but the bigger one lies in both hardware and software. A change over the 9X is the phone's Kirin 810 octa-core processor with a higher 2.27 GHz clock speed and an updated 7nm manufacturing process. There's also 6GB of RAM and 256GB of storage here, expandable via microSD. Now, what all that means is improved performance and battery life. When browsing on the phone, I did notice a more consistent experience, which is great, but taking a look at the software, that's a major change over the 9X too. So the 9X Pro comes running Android 9 with EMUI 9.1 on top, but there's no Google Play services on board. This is Honor embracing Huawei's mobile services, so by default, the app store you have to rely on is Huawei's App Gallery. When you set it up, it gives you some region-specific recommendations and it's quite populated to say the least, but many popular applications are still not available. For example, I tried downloading PUBG, which turned out to be a fake version of the game, and as for Antutu for benchmarking, well, the extra 3D file required to run the application wasn't available in the region. So there's a few inconsistencies which we're hoping to be nailed out in the coming months. But for non-Google applications like Instagram, WhatsApp, or even Antutu Benchmark for that matter, you can easily download their APK files off the web, although that means you'll have to manually keep them updated. As for Google Play services, you can get them running by following the tutorial linked on the card in the top right hand corner. Software aside, we've got the cameras. So they're identical to the ones found on the 9X with a 48MP wide, 8MP ultra wide, and a 2MP depth sensor accompanied with a 16MP pop-up style selfie shooter. There's support for AI, and we've actually got a separate video in the works where we'll put the camera to the test in more detail. The battery too is a 4000 mAh cell coupled with 10W charging, although we would have liked to see a faster charging method. And with the slight testing we've done with the phone, it does drain fairly quick. So that's the Honor 9X Pro. Improvements internally and changes to the software are its biggest differences over the 9X. Stay tuned for more coverage coming up and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, this was Vaibhav and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.